Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nailed It Sports. My name is Caleb Nail. Today is September 24th, Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. We got a good show. We're going to enter into James 2 today. We're talking James 2. We're talking Monday Night Football, PAC-12 realignment. We got more news there. And then I didn't get to our Yeovil Town update yesterday. Ran out of time. So we're going to get to that today. We're going to get to it eventually. So if we don't get to it today, because I did start a little late, then we will get to it tomorrow. Eventually, we will have an update on Yeovil Town. It's early in the morning here. We're in Fresno, California. And we're outside because we're not trying to wake the baby. So that's why you have seen me the past couple episodes in a hoodie sitting outside because it's a little chilly in the mornings. I'm still wondering what I'm going to do when I wake up and it's freezing. And I have lots of layers on. Hopefully you could see me. It's probably better if you don't. It's probably better if you just hear me. All right. Anyways, you can follow me on X, Nail, N-A-L-E. We're on YouTube, Nailed It Sports. I put everything up on X as well, so you can follow along there. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, share the video, comment. The comments really help. Like the video, all the fun stuff. You know what to do. All right. So yesterday, I had a good time on X. If you followed me, then you kind of saw what was going on. I put up a post about Tennessee. I was just going to post stuff about, stuff we talk about. I'm going to post about it throughout the day as well, right? More content. They say, you got to have a bunch of content. Well, I could talk about it and then I could post about it and things like that, right? Well, the first one with Tennessee, the Tennessee fans decided to jump in, and I got ripped all day. So I just want to start the episode out by saying, I love you, Tennessee fans. Nothing against you, but you're going to scare me away from posting or cheering or saying anything about Tennessee from here on out. They're wild. It just means more, I guess. Go check that out. We talked about it yesterday, how not really hopping on the hype train yet because of the people that they've played. It's just an opinion of mine, and I reserve the right to change my mind, but they did not like that. They did not like that I was not jumping on the hype train. Anyway, and I even said, look, I think you're going to make the playoff because I think there's going to be 5 SEC teams that are going to make the playoff, and Tennessee is going to be one of them. But they didn't like that. Anyways, all right. James 2 has loaded up. Starting with verse 1, we're going to read through verse 13 if you want to follow along. James 2, starting at verse 1. Let's talk about favoritism. My brothers and sisters, believers in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ must not show favoritism. Suppose a man comes into your meeting wearing a gold ring and fine clothes, and a poor man in filthy old clothes also comes in. If you show special attention to the man wearing fine clothes and say, "Here's a good seat for you," but say to the poor man, "You stand there," or "Sit on the floor by my feet," have you not discriminated among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Listen, my dear brothers and sisters. Has not God chosen those who are poor in the eyes of the world to be rich in faith and to inherit the kingdom he promised those who love him? But you have dishonored the poor. Is it not the rich who are exploiting you? Are they not the ones who are dragging you into court? Are they not the ones who are blaspheming the noble name of him to whom you belong? Do you really keep the royal law found in Scripture, love your neighbor as yourself? You are doing right. But if you show favoritism, you sin and are convicted by the law as lawbreakers. For whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it. For he who said, "You shall not commit adultery," also said, "You shall not commit murder." If you do not commit adultery, but do commit murder, you have become a lawbreaker. Speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom, because judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. Mercy triumphs over judgment. I like the last two verses there. James kind of sums it all together. Speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom. And thank goodness the law gives freedom. Because judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. Mercy triumphs over judgment. Okay, and some people will ask, well, what is the law? Right? I don't like a lot of laws. Well, Jesus sums this up for us. Right? People ask him, what do I need to do to get into heaven? Right? Kind of the religion question, but Christianity is different, right? So okay, you got the 10 Commandments. Make sure you follow the 10 Commandments. And part of the 10 Commandments, James puts a couple in here. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not murder. Okay, so follow those. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. These can sum up the entire law. Love the Lord your God with your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Right? That sums everything up. When you love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to commit adultery. You're not going to commit murder. Along with all the other 10 Commandments, you will have no other gods before. That's love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so then James says, speak and act as those who are going to be judged by that law, and that law gives freedom. And it's true, I don't know, I've brought this up before, and some people I know aren't big fans of Jocko Willink, but I like the concept that he talked about when it comes to extreme ownership. He says, okay, speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom. But Jocko says discipline equals freedom. Right? And this is true. This is true. Like, even in the secular world, it's true. Right? If you're more disciplined, it's going to free you up to do more things. Right? If I'm disciplined at waking up early in the morning and doing this, now I'm free to do other things. Right? Discipline equals freedom. If I follow the law that the Lord set before us, it gives us freedom. Not only does it give us freedom in our everyday lives, just to interact and go about our lives, but it gives us freedom from sin, which is by far the best freedom out there. If you haven't experienced freedom from sin, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Not just because it gives you a fulfilling life, but two, we're called to be free from sin so that we can walk with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So we're called to walk free from sin. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Let me finish up verse 13. James finishes the sentence with, because judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. Judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. That's scary. We don't want that. And then he adds, mercy triumphs over judgment. I think this is really good. A really good statement for today's society. Mercy triumphs over judgment. That should go on a t-shirt. Really. We need to be merciful. Sometimes I think about the story of when Peter cut off the Roman soldier's ear when they're going to arrest Jesus in the garden. What did Jesus do? If you know the story, you know. If not, you probably think Jesus would fight back, right? I just realized that my microphone isn't plugged in. So you've been listening. Sorry about that.
All right, I hope that's better. But back to Jesus in the garden, he healed the man who Peter cut, the man who lost his ear, that Peter sliced his ear off. He healed him. He healed the man that was arresting him, and he didn't fight back. He walked in to face what was before him. And then he asked, as he was dying on the cross, he asked the Father to forgive them, for they know not what they do. I mean, that's amazing. That's extremely hard. Well, I mean, I think about myself. What would I do? There is no shot. Like I have to grow a lot, because there is no shot that if I'm being arrested for something that I didn't do, and one of my friends betrayed me, I would be ticked and I would fight because I'm innocent. But Jesus didn't do any of that. He actually healed and prayed for his oppressors. He healed them. And then did the ultimate thing, is forgive them. Ask for them to be forgiven. We're going through this in my family right now. My sister and brother-in-law had some things stolen from their property, or on their property. So, and they got the person, they saw the person on camera, but they couldn't really make out anything. Their lights were off in the front patio. So there was a porch thief. And that's hard and scary because it's a violation of privacy. You don't feel very safe when people walk onto your property and steal things from you. And my brother-in-law is really mad. Understandable. Really mad. And and he is a believer, and he was praying for this person, but he said something to me that I remember, that I will remember, and it'll stick with me. He said, "Do they deserve it?" Because he's having a hard time. And he knows, and we talked about it. And yes, they deserve it, because we're all created in the image of Christ. We're all sons and daughters of him. So everyone, and Christ died for everyone. And then James says we need to show mercy over judgment. But it's hard. It's extremely hard. Right? And before James gets to that point, he talked about showing favoritism. Right? And I would say, for the most part, people think they do a good job. I don't know if they do a good job. I would say that Sunday morning, we do okay. Sunday morning, when we gather for church, the event of church, we do okay. But after that, I think it ends. Sunday at 11 o'clock, I think it ends. For a lot of people. Not all, but a lot. What are we doing outside of the event of church to not show favoritism and show mercy to those that may not deserve it? And I think, and James says something that's really funny. We kind of distance ourselves from the very bottom as in lack of money, right? The poorest. We distance ourselves. The more money you get, and it doesn't matter. You could get into character, color of skin, where people are from, things like that. But it doesn't matter. In every society, there's classes when it comes to your amount of money. And the more money you get, the more you separate yourself literally from the poor. People move out. Doesn't matter what color, where you're from, what language you speak. That's what happens. And it's funny what James says. He says, you have dishonored the poor. And is it not the rich who are exploiting you? And I look around right now in the United States, and I mean, the rich are exploiting the poor at more so than ever in the United States of America. And we just don't care. we are grinding for more and more money. There's an artist, and this is the last thing. I'll end on this, and then we'll get into sports. There's an artist named Hulvey, Hulvey. If you're into hip hop, I recommend you go listen to him. He's very good, wise. I think his lyrics are strong. He's clean, big Jesus follower, sings about Jesus and praises him. He just released an album, and one of the songs is called Poor Party. Poor Party. He talks about how money cannot buy you more love. I like that. I think people think, and maybe the Western church has done a poor job of communicating this, but people think that the more money you have, the more you're going to be liked, the more you're going to be loved by society. And it's not true. It's not true. You cannot serve both God and money. And money cannot buy you love. Just look around. I mean, I look around and I see the guys grinding for money. And what do they lack? They lack people loving them because they put so much time into making money. They have failed marriages. They don't get to spend time with their kids. Love is wealth. In my opinion, love is wealth. And you do not need money to buy love. Mercy triumphs over judgment, and money cannot buy you love. All right, let's talk about Pac-12 realignment, because yesterday was quite the day when it comes to realignment stories. So apparently yesterday, there was going to be some news about more teams joining the Pac-12. So if you didn't see any of this, I'm sure you did. Sure you saw some things going on. But they were going to announce more teams from the American that were going to be joining the Pac-12. And those teams were Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, and USF, South Florida, and Texas San Antonio. What ended up happening, hi, dog, without a doubt, they're here. You always got to say hi. What ended up happening was the American got together and said, hey, guys, we're going to join together. And instead of joining the Pac-12, let's make a PAC as a conference and let's stick together. And those four teams in the American, Memphis, Tulane, Texas, San Antonio, and South Florida, said, you got it. We're not joining the Pac-12. Or Pac-6 as of right now. Or 7, should I say. So that news came out, and I think a lot of people, especially us Fresno State fans, who thought, oh no, what's going to happen next? Because, and there's still a lot that can happen because none of this goes into effect until 2026. So a lot can happen. But I think the reason that a lot of people got scared, like Fresno State, is, look, we're supposed to be in here to make more money. and making more money was contingent on having more markets. And if we had more eyes across the country, like Memphis, Tennessee, Tulane in New Orleans, San Antonio, South Florida, then we really had a product to present to companies to get good TV deals. Well, that didn't happen. Okay, and if you go back and listen to my Pac-12 realignment when it initially happened with Fresno State, Colorado State, Boise, and San Diego State moving, this was my main concern. Like, what's going on here? Because we have everything in front of us right now to do that with the Mountain West. And I understand Oregon State and Washington State were sitting on that pile of cash that the other teams left them, the Pac-12 teams left them. But why couldn't we make something work with the Mountain West and the Mountain West schools? Why do we need, we're trying to get rid of the bottom feeders? Is that what's going on? Well, I mean, Boise and Colorado State don't have baseball teams. I'd like to play baseball. I understand we want competitive football conference. We're going to have a good basketball conference because I'm going to get to more teams soon and more news soon. But it just didn't really make sense, right? Something was off. And after seeing this, what should have happened is they should have pursued at least 6 teams. Oregon State and Washington State and the Pac-12 should have pursued at least 6 teams to get them to that 8 number. Because once you get to 8 teams, then you're considered a conference by the NCAA, and you can, have conference championships, and where your conference championships actually count towards something. They should have waited. And now we'll see what happens with Fresno State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Boise State. But there was one team that jumped in yesterday, and that was Utah State. Okay, so basketball-wise, very good conference. Fresno State's really going to have to figure it out. We got a work cut out for us because basketball, we're going to have to work hard. It's going to be tough. But it is another football team. So now we get to 7. But that also leaves the Mountain West at 7. Okay, so now in 2026, neither team is going to be considered a conference, technically, if either of them don't find an 8th team. The Pac-12 did add Gonzaga. They're in talks to add Gonzaga for basketball. I think that would be great. I think they should talk to St. Mary's as well. That would be a huge add. And basketball, I think you would make a lot of money in the basketball world because you're going to put in, here's the thing, you're leaving the Mountain West, who was putting in 4 or 5 teams in the basketball tournament, and every game that you play, you make money in March Madness. So we want as many teams to be able to compete in March Madness as possible. So by adding Gonzaga, that would be big. San Diego State, Boise, Utah State's a good basketball school. Colorado State's not bad. But then if we can get St. Mary's or some other basketball schools, there's more money coming to teams in the conference because they're going to make that the basketball tournament. The rumor has been there's been 2 teams, UNLV and San Jose State. Mountain West is going to do as much as they can to keep them. I think the Mountain West is sitting on a lot of money now when it comes to exit fees with all of these teams leaving. They're making money. So they're going to do everything they can to get their schools in the Mountain West that money. And I think they're going to bribe the teams to stay with that money, which is good, as they should. But early on, we heard Nevada, Las Vegas, so UNLV and Reno, Nevada Wolfpack, were kind of a pact that could only move together. It has now come out that is not the case, and I think UNLV would be the next get for the Pac-12. However, I do think that the Mountain West team, or the Mountain West administrators, like Gloria Navarra is the commissioner, I think her number one team to keep is UNLV. I think Pac-12 really wants UNLV. And why wouldn't you? You want the Vegas market. You can use the venue. You can use UNLV venues rather than renting out from the MGM or whoever. So I think UNLV is next on this list. I'm curious about San Jose State if the market of Northern California is tempting. What does this mean for Fresno State? To me, there's still dust settling. We're not going to know. I do think it gets a lot harder for Fresno State to make money now when it comes to a TV deal. I think that there could be some brand exposure, negative brand exposure with this, because fan bases and maybe people with money will see this and kind of laugh at us. Well, you were a part of this. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't think anything changes much from the initial reaction. And I still think this is exciting move. They're going to get it. They're going to get it to 8 teams. It's only a matter of time. But this is all contingent on how much money we can get in a TV deal. That's all that matters. And can we be considered football-wise for the college football playoff? Right? Can we work into an automatic bid? That would be huge. We want to compete for national championships. We want to get into playoffs, whether that be football, basketball, baseball. We want to get into those so that we can make more money. We need those opportunities. And if we're at 7 teams, reminder, we have until 2026, so we have time. But if we have 7 teams, we can't do that. Now, I do think this is bad, and when I look at the possibility for more money, I am discouraged when it comes to TV deals. Because I think we could have made way more money with Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, and USF. And reminder, it still can happen. We have till 2026. But as I look at it right now, it's not looking good, in my opinion. It's not looking good. We have time. A lot of things can change. We'll be fine. We'll get to 8 teams. And we have a decent conference already. I like the 7 teams that are in there. If we can get Utah State to get back on track for football, we're going to be fine. Same with San Diego State. But it's a great basketball conference. We got a couple baseball teams in there. We need more baseball teams, in my opinion. Maybe that's one of the conditions we can get the teams to start baseball teams. But it's going to be a lot harder now to make more money in a TV deal. I just don't see that happening right now. What are your thoughts on Pac-12 realignment? Where should we go next? Like a Texas State? I think we should go hit up the Sun Belt. I think we should go hit up a Bowling Green out of the MAC. An NIU in Northern Illinois. Once the American did that, and now the Mountain West is trying to keep everybody together. You got to extend your offer to those schools, and then I think you have to at least offer like the Arizona States of the world, the Colorados of the world. I mean, Colorado's not winning the Big 12 anytime soon. Let's go grab them. And they're currently a brand. If whoever has Colorado is going to bring in a lot of money because that's where the viewers are going right now. Okay. Yeah. Leave your thoughts down below. Pac-12 realignment. Where to next? I think Texas State, UNLV are probably next. Maybe San Jose State. And then the Mountain West is in a world of hurt if that happens, which stinks because I really like the Mountain West. I really like Gloria Navarez. I think she's done a good job. And actually, over the past 24 hours, we've seen the type of leader she is, keeping everybody together, and how poor the Pac-12 still is. Sad. Okay, I'll move on. All right, Monday Night Football. We had 2 games last night. I want to start with the Commanders and Bengals. Washington Redskins, former Redskins and Bengals. We'll start with Cincinnati. Okay, we'll start with the bad and then go to the good. I mean, what happened to Cincy? They are a team that seems to be in trouble. 0-3 because former Redskins won. Jayden Daniels looked really good. But Cincy seems to be struggling as a team. Okay, no turnovers in this game, by the way. No punts. Both teams. No turnovers, no punts. So, and I wouldn't say Joe Burrow had a bad game, but it wasn't the Joe Burrow that we're used to seeing, right? And that's why I think I said, as a team, they seem to be in trouble. Like offensively, like they were mediocre at times. They looked really good at times. Defensively, not good. I think defensively and their O-line, that's where they need help. They have the weapons, they have Joe Burrow, but they got to get their defense up to speed, and their O-line is still a problem. It has been ever since Joe Burrow has been there. Is Cincinnati in trouble? They're 0-3. You guys tell me down below. Do you think Cincinnati is in trouble? But looking at the former Washington Redskins, these guys look like they have a future. Offensively, they look really good. Jayden Daniels, no interceptions. Let me get the stat out, actually. I took a screenshot of it. Jayden Daniels completed 91% of his passes Monday night. Okay, I believe this is from Rappaport, I believe. He completed 91% of his passes Monday night, setting a record for the highest completion percentage by a rookie, minimum of 20 attempts, in a game in NFL history. It broke the mark that Dak Prescott set in 2016 when he completed 88.9% of his passes in a game. Dak hit around 89, Jayden Daniels 91. Daniels' Monday night mark was also the highest completion percentage in a game in former Washington Redskins franchise history. Highest completion percentage in a game in the former Washington Redskins franchise history. He didn't say that. He said in Washington franchise history. He looked really good. Really good. McLaurin, he's got weapons. McLaurin looked good. Luke McCaffrey, the little McCaffrey brother, he looked really good. Austin Eckler did get injured in this week. I think he's left with a concussion, which is going to hurt them because he was very explosive for them last night. I really like Eckler and what I saw from him. They have some studs on the offense. If Jayden Daniels can keep this up, they'll be able to keep up with most teams because they're going to score a lot of points. Jayden Daniels looks like the real deal. He's got pieces around him. Look, no turnovers as a rookie quarterback. That's huge. He utilized everyone on the field. Saw him hit Zach Ertz a couple times, his tight end. He threw the ball deep to McLaurin for a touchdown. It was awesome pass play. He hit his slot receivers like Luke McCaffrey. The guys do, and he can use his legs, by the way, as well. He scored a touchdown. Rushing. The guy's good. He's good. And I think when he was coming out of college, a lot of people said, could be very similar to Lamar Jackson. think he's better. I think he's got a. I mean, Lamar Jackson won 2 MVPs, but I think the ceiling for Jayden Daniels is higher than Lamar Jackson. I do, because I think he's a true passer, and then after that, he's a freak athlete and blazing fast. Where I think Lamar Jackson is a freak athlete and blazing fast first before he is a true passer of the football. Now, Lamar throws a pretty ball. He's an NFL quarterback. You have to be good. I really like Lamar Jackson. I loved him at Louisville. He's so fun. Just talking about Jayden Daniels' ceiling, I think is higher than Lamar Jackson's. We'll see, though. There's a lot that can happen. I mean, you lose one piece on the O-line, and everything goes downhill very quick. But Jayden Daniels looked really good yesterday. And to be honest, they look like they're the best team in the NFC East. I mean, maybe the Eagles have something to say about it, but they look better than the Cowboys and Giants, that's for sure. They're going to compete for an NFC East title. Now, yesterday, we talked about 3-0 teams. And the Bills were added to that conversation after last night's game. The Jags are terrible. The Bills crushed them. But I do think the Bills are for real. And in my opinion, after what I saw last night, this could be, recency bias and because they play the Jags. But Josh Allen looks like he's playing the best football he's played in a long time. He looked really good, and he was spreading the football around as well. I mean, I think they scored on 4 straight drives, maybe 5 straight drives, all to a different guy. Somebody different scored every time. The Bills, I think it was more the Jags are bad than the Bills are legit. But man, if so, thank you, because you're making Josh Allen look really good. Here's something for you. Josh Allen is the first quarterback in NFL history to complete 75% of his passes, throw for 4+ touchdowns, have no turnovers, take 0 sacks, and lead his team in rushing yards all in the same game. And this was last night. This just tells you how bad the Jags are. But also, this is the NFL. They're good players, NFL players. And we know Josh Allen is good. That's why I say Josh Allen in the past 3 games looks like he's having a career year. And last game, let me repeat this one more time, against the Jaguars, he completed 75% of his passes. He threw for 4+ touchdowns. He had no turnovers. He took no sacks, and he led his team in rushing. First quarterback in NFL history to do that in one game. Guy's good, man. He's very good. And it was a lot of fun to watch. So the Bengals fall to 0-3. The Titans are 0-3. The Jaguars are 0-3. Those are your 3 teams that have not won yet. Do you think that any of those teams can bounce back? Bengals, Titans, Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are bad. The Titans, I think, are pretty bad as well. But the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence looks bad. What happened to Trevor Lawrence? I mean, O-line is not that great, but he made some poor throws, some poor decisions, and he missed guys that were open, overthrew them, which led to interceptions. It was bad. Trevor Lawrence is not looking good. Actually, toward the end of the game, they pulled him. I mean, they weren't going to win. Let's get the backup some reps because Trevor Lawrence is not looking good. What in the world? Their defense has been bad too. Like, just quickly looking through, they have given up the most points in the AFC. Out of all the AFC teams, they've given up the most points. They haven't scored the least, but I think they're about third in the AFC in points scored. They only scored 40 points in 3 games. Like, they look bad. The Titans look bad. The Bengals are the team that sit at 0-3, that sit winless, that I believe could figure it out and save their season. Because I mean, in the AFC North, you have the Steelers. They're 3-0. I don't trust the Steelers yet, but Justin Fields looks pretty good. The Ravens are going to be tough. They're 1-2, but they have weapons. They figure it out. They're going to be good. And the Browns, to be honest, the Browns, to me, have looked like the worst team in the AFC North, but they won this past week. So I feel like if the Bengals figure it out, they're going to be competitive. And they were competitive to an extent last night. So out of the 3 0-3 teams, out of the 3 winless teams, I think the Bengals have the best opportunity or the most potential to save their season. But as of right now, all 3 of those teams are not looking good. Jaguars and Titans look bad. And AFC South, I mean, it's the Texans to lose, to be honest. Oh, man. Raiders came out and said that they're going to be sticking with Minshew. Do you think, what is your opinion on that? Leave that down below in the comments. Yesterday I said, I think it's time we give O'Connell a shot. I mean, we're 3 games in. We lost. Yeah, I understand that Minshew won 1 game, but you lost to the Panthers. O'Connell came in and looked decent. I thought he looked better than Minshew. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I like Gardner Minshew. I see his potential. But how long of a leash are we going to give him? I think there needs to be an ongoing quarterback competition. I'd like to see O'Connell get a shot at it. Speaking of Oakland, a lot of news coming out about the Oakland A's yesterday. Here's my thing with all this, in that, these Oakland can get mad, baseball fans can get mad. This is what it boils down to. Is that Oakland is a terrible city. The Coliseum is a terrible stadium. I don't want to go. I don't care how good the teams are. The Raiders, the Warriors, the A's. I've attended some Raiders games when they were decent. When they made the playoffs with Derek Carr. It's the worst venue. The worst. And a lot of people say rebuild, and I may not understand all of this. But in my opinion, it's the city of Oakland did this. No one else. If all 3 teams left, why are we blaming the owners? I think it's time to look in the mirror and look at the city of Oakland. It's dirty. It's not safe. Where the stadiums are, at least. I've been to nicer places in Oakland. But where the stadiums are, I don't want to go. I'm not taking my family there. I think this is on Oakland. The city of Oakland. The politics of Oakland. Yeah, it's sad that Oakland's losing those teams. But then we need to take care of our town. Take care of our communities. Make a place that people want to attend. I get that the management for the Oakland A's was bad. If I'm running a business, I'm not starting a business in Oakland. Or if I'm running a business in Oakland, and you could say he's not doing a good job, I understand that. But nobody's showing up to the games, and I have to lower ticket sales, and I'm losing money. I'm leaving. I have to leave. And with an opportunity to go to Las Vegas, I'm not passing that up. So I can't blame the people within the Oakland A's organization for leaving Oakland and going to Las Vegas. I can't, because I would probably do the same. All right, last but not least, we're not going to get to Yeovil Town update. I'm sorry. It's almost time to get ready for work. I'm going to be late. Caitlin Clark poked in the eye by a WNBA player. I'll start with this. And if you've been here for a while, you understand my thoughts on the WNBA. It's boring. I don't watch it. Even if Caitlin Clark is there, and she's the most famous. Currently, she's the most famous women's athlete. And I still don't keep up with it. I tried to watch one game, Indiana Fever game with Caitlin Clark. It just wasn't fun. It wasn't entertaining. I would much rather watch highlights for college football, anything. To be honest, I'd much rather watch a dog show than the WNBA. Or horses race. I just don't. It's just not entertaining. It's not. I'm sorry. It's just not. Okay, but here's the thing. Is from what I've seen on social media, and this is the question I want to ask, why does the WNBA and their players, why do they hate Caitlin Clark? I read a couple things last night, but I don't get it. It's ridiculous. So this gal that poked Caitlin Clark in the eye, and you say, oh, you get poked in the eye all the time in basketball. Okay, well, if you didn't see it, you got to go watch it. Caitlin Clark shot the ball. The gal puts her arm up. No, get a hand up, right? Then you got to go on YouTube to look at my hand position. Goes like this and just jabs her right in the eye. Blatant, purposeful. It was a blatant motion. I mean, just right in the eye. I mean, it's something that if it happens, if it happened when I was in high school, the game is stopping because everybody's getting in that person's face. It was bad. And she's actually hurt from it. Physically hurt. Why do they hate her? Caitlin Clark put women's basketball in front of millions of people. That's the reason. A rising tide lifts all boats. What do they not get about this? What do you not get about this? When a talented young podcaster, radio personality, media person comes up in Fresno, you think I'm going to degrade them, injure them purposefully so that they can't be successful? No. Oh my God, that's the last thing I want. I want to boost this person. I want to boost them in my circle and do whatever I can to help them. Because if they're successful and I help them, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to thank me, right? And it's not just a me thing either, because I'm a believer in Christ Jesus, right? And it's not about me. It's about others. That's what following Jesus is all about. It's about others. So from that perspective, I don't care who you are, what you are, even if you're bad at your job, I'm also going to try and help you and lift you up because I want you to be successful. I read that they are talking about how the fan base behind Caitlin Clark is racist. I haven't seen that. I know white people, black people, Hispanics, Asians that all like Caitlin Clark and don't think that. And they're not racist. How about this? How about we enjoy good basketball? Caitlin Clark is probably the best basketball player, the most entertaining female basketball player to walk planet Earth. How about that? And you attack her. I mean, maybe that could be it. I'm sick and tired of all these people playing the victim and not looking in the mirror. Here's something from the Bible. Instead of worrying about the speck in someone else's eye, why don't you worry about the plank in yours? Then once you get out your plank, right, which is going to take a while, and don't talk to me about, well, I am Christian, I believe this, because I've seen, this is a message to all these celebrities and things like that. I've seen what you post. I listen to your tongue, what comes out of your mouth. I see your actions. You're not a representative of Christ. So don't tell me that you're a Christian and you believe these things. Worry about the plank in your eye. Once you worry about the plank in your eye, then you can worry about someone else's speck and we can clean it up. Because I don't think we need to be sitting around all day worrying about and trying to fix our plank. Once you get your plank out, then go work on the speck in other people's eyes. I think it's a joke. And it's boring. And with all this drama in the WNBA, it makes for great talking points. Hey, thank you. But I'm not going to watch it. I'm not watching the WNBA. I have friends, I have family members that enjoy the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. By the way, they're watching because of Caitlin Clark. I didn't watch any female basketball because Caitlin Clark wasn't on the team. We always win gold anyways, but it's not entertaining without Caitlin Clark. That's just the reality of it. Right? I don't watch a lot of movies, but when there's a certain actor, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, when there's a certain actor, I'll go watch the movie. It's the same way. There's an entertaining actor. When there's and I'm not racist for saying that. No one is racist for saying that. Go get better at shooting because that's entertaining. That's my answer to them. Because I've read it last night. We've been here a long time doing this. She did not lay the groundwork for it. Sure, but no one was entertaining. Maybe Lisa Leslie. Maybe. After that, sorry. I think maybe you could talk about UConn women. That's just because they won all the time. Gino Auriemma is a fantastic coach and made it entertaining to watch. You can get behind a winning program. It's sad. It's really sad what has happened to society and the way we think. And here's the other thing is that, okay, let's say there is racism. There are racist fans that cheer on Caitlin Clark because she's white and dislike people with darker skin color, or hate them. Okay, because I'm sure there may be some out there. I'm not saying there's not racist WNBA fans, but they're calling for Caitlin Clark to condemn those things. If I'm a professional athlete and I've listened to Caitlin Clark say something like that, I read it last night and she had a video. They put a video up of this in this article. She said, One, my job is to play basketball in the WNBA. My job is to not go searching for racists that support me and tell them to stop. And I get that. Because just last night, I had a guy accuse me, this one Tennessee fan, accuse me of not responding to everybody in the comment section in my post, and that it was very telling to me. There were over 60 comments. I have a job. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I don't have time to read 60 comments and respond to each and every one after I post an opinion of mine that on sports in the first place. It's on sports. We're talking about sports, the entertainment industry. Who cares? It's an opinion. I don't live in China. We can have that. I don't have time to respond to 60 people, let alone thousands when it comes to Caitlin Clark. She's got a job. She's got a personal life. It's not her job. You know whose job it is? It's our job. It's our job to tell people about Jesus. Because Jesus, if you are a follower of Jesus and we go out there and we're telling people about Jesus, there's going to be no racists. They're not going to, James 2, they're not going to be favoring the rich over the poor. They're not going to be favoring a certain skin color over another. We're going to be showing the love of Jesus to everyone. So that's our job. And Caitlin Clark, it's her job, and I don't know if she's a believer or not, but it's everyone's job within their workspace, if as a believer, to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world to their employers, employees, employers, co-workers. That's our job. You can't worry about hundreds of thousands of comments and to find the one comment in there or the dozen comments in there that are racist. I guarantee you she doesn't even have her notifications on. Please get over it. So I think it's a joke. And I want to enjoy sports for what they are, and that's sports, and that's entertainment. If it's entertaining, I'm going to watch it. And I'm sorry, WNBA, it's still boring. So I'm not going to watch it. And the only way to get in front of me is to jab somebody in the eye. And then I read an article about Caitlin Clark is racist, her fan base is racist. All these white fans coming to the WNBA are racist. Like I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't know. What I do know is that Caitlin Clark is not racist. I'd say 99% of her fans are not racist. And the WNBA as an organization and the WNBA players need to support Caitlin Clark. Like I said, a rising tide lifts all boats. But if you want to get rid of Caitlin Clark and lose everybody, the money that's coming in, so be it. So, it's not my money. All right. It's our job to go be the light, be Jesus' light, be the salt of the earth in our workspace today. Let's go do that. Let's go love on the people that were around today. If you're in the WNBA, let's go love on them. We need to show the love of Jesus to these people. And if you know racists, show love to them. Right? That's what we're called to do. I want everyone to know Jesus. Don't you? The God who created us, the God who came down, became human, became flesh, died for us, rose again. He conquered death so that we don't have to die and live in suffering in eternity. No, we can live in paradise for eternity with the God of the universe who created us. Let's love on those around us today. Let's spread that. God bless you guys.